Okay, to see this in action, basically the newer stuff, I'm not sure if this is showing up in the background or not, so we'll move this kind of out of the way here. But let's go ahead and take a peek at a few things, and we're going to run that test that we ran in the earlier podcast again. We've made some changes to the software in order to do things. So we have certain calibration for these accelerometers that we have on the machine. And let's take a look at some of that. So we're going to use this one here, and instead now we put in the value of the picocoulombs per G. Now there's a couple other cool things that come as a direct result. The other thing we do for those who will have this is in our settings. Now we went ahead and we've been talking about this for some time, but we've made some additional improvements that will be available soon. That includes the ability here it is, to put in the cost per kilowatt hour and the carbon emissions. Now there's still a few fixes we're going to have in here, but that should take care of it. So let's go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to select, make sure everything else is selected. Some other changes here based on everything, but here's the other change is in the hidden folder for setup. We now have the ability to put in our channels. So that's set up. Let's see, make sure we got everything else here because I'm just going through this as well. Oh, I got to make another change there because I was looking at something. The other thing that we did is the nuclear button shows up now automatically. I'm running everything in the background, so of course we're going to have some slowdown here. But we're going to go ahead now and we're going to be able to collect data. Let's make sure everything is functional before we start everything up. Okay. So this is on. Let's go ahead and start the motor. We're going to run about 30 hertz. I have a coast up time or startup time built in so it doesn't just abruptly start in this type of setup. So here we go, we're running. If I want to see the vibration channels, I select those as well. But they're going to be collected in either case. Okay, so values are very low in G's. Now I can see everything at once here. Okay, so if I want to make sure the gains are set, the gains will hit everything now. So when I set the gains, they're going to check the gains, they're going to check the calibration of the devices, zero everything out. This is both data collection, it's also setting my amplitude. So it's a small machine, so that's good. And as you can see here, it automatically set my amplitude so I can watch my vibration real time. So I have that as well. There's a couple other things, really cool things I can do as far as inrush and so on. We'll cover that next. But we have this set up now. There's some new buttons in here I still have to explore. And then that has to do with the vibration stuff. Let's go ahead and we'll download the data. What I didn't do is put in the hours of operation yet. Meant to do that, but I can always add that afterwards. So for instance, how many hours is this operating, so we can calculate kilowatt hours and automatically detect some of the other conditions. So while we're watching, I'm seeing what's going on as far as G's and everything else. Now though, unlike the last time, I'm actually going to be able to change the acceleration over to velocity when I'm doing my spectral analysis. Primary difference is for some faults, you won't be able to, I mean, it's not going to automatically detect the vibration faults. You have to do some of that analysis on your own, but the calculations are called up. So when I go over and I'm looking at my kilowatt analysis, for instance, all the lines are going to line up in kilowatt analysis and in vibration analysis exactly the same way I would in vibration. Okay, it's finished collecting data. It's going to display its findings. It is including the vibration data now. That's another nice little thing. So I'm going to be able to take a look at everything. It's doing its automatic analysis. However I had it set up, it's telling me it's exceeding the load, probably because it's a high current when I'm at 30 hertz. So it's overloaded it for 30 hertz, primarily because of some other conditions, including a little bit of unbalance and some other things going on. One of the things I can do now, too, is my nameplate. With my nameplate, there we go, is here I have the number of hours that it's operating per day. So if I want to say 8,760 hours, I'll put in 24 hours. Now it's going to do something else for me. Let it run. Wait till the spinning wheel stops. But you can see the spectra looks a little bit different. In my extras tab now, I have some extra stuff. Last one is losses. I don't know what this is going to show up like, but it's going to be pretty light because of the size of the motor. So the total additional losses, it's going to show it in watts up top, and that's important because especially when I have a bearing issue or lubrication issue in the bearing, I'll start showing watts increase there. A little bit of unbalance, some other stuff that really I have to analyze for, but that's showing us 10.6. The harmonic losses from the drive, because the drive's not really tuned or correctly set for the motor on purpose, I've got about 16 or 17 watts. So mostly it's that. Partly it's some of the unidentified issues, and that totals up to about 0.03 or 30 watts, right? If you total that up. And that comes down to a loss per year of about $24 and 0.2 metric tons of CO2. Now, I've tested this in a couple of things. Now, this is if this is running 24/7, which obviously it's not. But this is now going to be in a future edition, along with some other features, because this is still a beta of the latest version of the software. We're constantly moving it forward. There's a lot of other things we built in for strictly for wind, for pumps, for deep submersibles, things like that, all built in based upon all the history we have from 1992 to present. So we're going to go ahead and close that out. And you can see running speed showing up. There's my running speed in vibration here and here as well. I'm sorry, this one is, yep. So these two are my vibration spectra. You can see there's some other peaks in there. Let's go ahead and take this data. Let's do something else because we're going to do one more test afterwards. Well, let's go ahead and take this data, and we're going to go to our high frequency data set. And we're going to get rid of a lot of this stuff. So this is showing me is my current and my voltage, the actual waveforms here on the left, and then the spectra here on the right. If I want to get these to be sharper, I'll just do this. Now when I do a normal data collection, this will be sharper automatically, but with the vibration it's showing me in close across 0.05 seconds, which I think is fantastic. That gives me an idea of what's going on, the pulsation from the drive and some other stuff. You can see all the nastiness in the drive up top. You can see the oscillation going on in voltage. So I have a single phase power supply coming in and 3 phases coming out. You can see that reflected also in vibration, which gives me some of my peaks. And you can see those peaks showing up here where they should in vibration. As a matter of fact, in that short run, you can see I'm all the way out in vibration out to 6 kilohertz. Now this is an acceleration, and you can see the peaks are rather small. But let's go ahead and we're going to do 2 things. First, we're going to leave those 2 open. We're going to open up our kilowatts so we can actually start matching some stuff up. The other thing we have to do in kilowatts, though, is we're going to have to change it to linear if it doesn't automatically. So yeah, so it stayed as spectral. So let's go ahead and we'll change this to linear. Okay. It's thinking again. So there we go. There's our linear stuff. You can see some of them line up. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to change here. We're going to come in, we're going to select this, and we're going to change this one and this one to velocity. So by switching those over, now we're in velocity. That means this upper spectra here, all this stuff to the right, we're not going to be paying much attention to. So let's get down into an area of interest. Let's see what's going on, because it did say 1 time RPM, right? So it did say that there was some level of unbalance. So here's my running speed here. This is a line frequency peak. That's that harmonic content. That's in the power spectrum. It's not showing up here, which is fine. Now right now this is in hertz, but we're going to do one more thing here for those who do a lot of vibration work. Okay, so the peaks are really low. Let's get rid of that lump off to the right. That's something we're going to have to work on filtering. Okay, peak is at basically virtually non-existent there. That's something I've got to look into, because I'm showing up a peak here. That means that I probably have my settings set for false positives in ESA. I do that. So let's go ahead, and the next thing we wanted to do was what? Let's get down here so we can see if there's a 1 time at all first off. The more we go in, the better that's going to show up. There's our 1 time. So it's showing up there, but it's an extremely low peak, so it's virtually unreadable, probably the way I have the accelerometer set up. But that's okay. That's good to know. So let's go ahead and we're going to do one more thing here, because I want to see what my coast up and coast down looks like. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to set up to collect data. This time we're going to say, let's make sure that we're viewing what's going on. So channels, open up the other 2. By the way, I didn't prepare for this. I am seeing this for the first time as well in operation. I know it's supposed to be here, but let's take a look and see what happens. And as you know, good or bad, I'm going to end up posting this. So we're going to come in here, we're going to say let's trigger this. And so here I'm going to take my current, it's going to be really low. And then when I click the down arrow, it's going to ask me for time. Now I can make this length shorter, longer, whatever else. I'm going to leave it at 48 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Okay, so it's now waiting for it to start. So as soon as I start it, it's going to go back about 1 second. There we go. So it's grabbing that. It's coming up to speed. I can watch also the inrush real time on my vibration from my accelerometers. Now again, it's in G's at this point. And it will run the full 48 seconds. And I can watch this box down here on the right that you're seeing on your screen in your lower right. Actually, probably being hidden by my head, because I always put my head down in that corner. But in any case, on the bottom, the straight through, the pass through ones, they're showing that as coming up. So when I'm done, let's see what we see. So up comes everything. It's thinking. I haven't tried this one yet. Let's see what happens. Okay, it looks good so far. Now again, I'm running, video stuff and everything else. I got a lot running in the background of this computer. There we go. So here's my inrush on everything, right? As a matter of fact, and then there's the spectra associated with it for the 2 channels. But let's just look at our inrush information. So we're going to get rid of the spectra portion. So we've got 4 now. So this is my horizontal here, and this is the vertical. It's on the fan cover just because I'm just testing this out. So the data, and that's probably why I didn't get the vibration data, but the cool thing is I'm testing and making sure everything works, because I have some 45-foot and 30-foot versions of the cable. Come this upcoming week, we're going to go out and we're testing 2 motors in the field on Tuesday, which we will do in our next presentation. Then we're going to get back to all the other energy stuff. But here's the other part we can do in here. I can do all my analysis still with my inrush stuff, but I have to do it a certain way. Let's see what the current envelope, or the spectral the envelope looks like. So we're going to take a look at that. There we go. There's my current envelope, so I see what the inrush looks like, or the startup looks like, versus what I'm seeing here. So this is nice and steady up. I can zoom into any portion. I can analyze whatever's in the screen. So if I want to analyze, so let's get rid of let's get rid of nothing. We'll keep it all. So let's say we want to take a look from here to here in the spectra. We just have to either, there's 2 things we can do. I'm going to do it the easy way, because I want to see what I'm looking at. So this is the area that I would then be able to go in, and for that stretch we're going to take a look. So I'm going to have 8 screens up. By the way, at this point I can also bring up kilowatts, and if I do it in whatever in spectral analysis, I can also do a waterfall plot of it. So I get to do waterfall plots of all this stuff too. So up we come. There we go. All of our stuff. It's pretty crowded, but when I do this type of work, it's on a big screen. For those who are wondering, yeah, we're only part way. This is an effort between the software guys, myself, and some partners in the field for us to take a look at it. So here we go. Current spectrum. There we have that. For just that section, you can see everything skewed a little bit. The frequencies are, so I have this set for 2 kilohertz, which is why it's so noisy. But you can see for this part, this is the analysis of just that part. So you can see all the harmonics sitting there from the oscillation. You can see the peaks associated with this. Basically, it's all there. So there's my line, there's my output frequency, there's the firing frequency of the drive, and again, even in vibration, it's showing up in acceleration. So not too shabby. Still some work to do, but we are most definitely getting there. I am ready basically to do the first test next week towards the study that I was talking about, to start relating that energy and emissions part to see what part of that we can see in vibration, so that those who are doing just vibration analysis will have a methodology, regardless of the technology they're using, to go out and be able to calculate accurate, that's key, accurate losses associated with vibration. Right now, so far, other than 2 papers, one written by Dr. Eshelman and one written by another gentleman, those appear to be accurate so far. The other stuff I'm seeing in the field, not at all accurate. Just to be blunt, I think people are just picking numbers out of the air. As I mentioned before, and I'll mention again, it was in my last newsletter as well. I had somebody tell me that, their losses associated with the defects exceeded the total kilowatts that the machine was running. But what can you do? In any case, we're going to have some real science behind this. You guys are going to join me on that exploration, and let's have a little fun. This is what I do. This is my hobby. So enjoy. Thank you very much.